crazy.
Welcome back to OpenLine tonight. Dr. Friday is here, a tax specialist. Says she's been crazy busy the last couple of about month and a half.
That's right.
But it's tax season.
That's
That's
right.
what you
30
signed up
days to
for. You
go.
love it. There you go. Okay, let's jump back to lunch. Lots of people, lots of questions tonight. If you have one at home, go ahead and give us a call in. Mary, what's your question tonight? Okay, Mary, you got to turn down that TV and just listen to your phone. We're gonna let Mary catch up for a second here. We're gonna put Mary on hold, and we're gonna go to Steve. Steve, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your question. You called in earlier, right?
Yeah, you
Okay,
answered
you
my
got good. Good. You had a follow-up. What is it?
My mom and dad declaring me as a dependent. Should I bring? I got two questions. Should I bring a statement, like a monthly statement, showing how much they're paying for my insurance to show the tax lady? And two, the elderly lady. This is the second question. The elderly lady that y'all were talking to earlier. If she had a dollar amount on that donation that she said was given to Megan Berry, couldn't she use that as a tax write-off?
Political donations are usually not a tax. Most of them are not nonprofits, so no, they're not qualified to be, as a tax deduction. And many times the seniors, because they don't itemize, because they've paid off their homes and stuff, it's hard for them to itemize, to be honest. So in her case, I don't know her tax thing, but in many cases that doesn't apply. So no, but I would say it's not necessary. There should have been a form called the 1095, which is one of the other earlier callers was kind of reading part of that, but you should have gotten something that showed either an A, B, or C that showed that they pay your health insurance. Your name should be listed, and it should show all 12 months.
Okay, because they send the bill directly to the house here, and I pay it by check.
That's fine, but the insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, whoever you're with, should have sent a form to them saying that that you were fully insured. It's on a 1095 A, B, or C, depending on what kind of insurance it is.
Okay.
So contact them if you don't have it. You're going to want to bring that to your tax person.
Okay.
Okay. But I don't file, so with them declaring me as a dependent, should I show that?
Yes, you need to show proof, because now that you're dependent, you need to show proof that you have insurance. Yes, sir.
Okay, because I just recently got something from the IRS about insurance in the mail, so that's why I was calling.
Good point.
So,
yeah. So if you're dependent, your name's on their return. She's gonna, or he, whoever's doing the taxes, is going to mark you as fully insured.
All right,
Okay.
Steve. Thanks for your call. Have a good one. Good luck with all that. Let's go back to Mary. Mary, you with us this time?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
Oh, okay. My question is, this is concerning stocks, like dividends. And the state is holding, mine is unclaimed property. And I'm recently become aware of it. What do I do about taxes? Now, I haven't gotten the dividends. Do I wait until I apply for them and they send them to me?
Okay.
Or
Mary, I have to ask you a quick question. Is this dividends that maybe your husband or you inherited from somewhere, or is this dividends that you had and somehow they lost track of you?
It's dividends that I paid. They said that they needed the paperwork, like the
proof. They wanted proof that you are who you are, so they can release the funds to you.
right.
Okay.
Anyway, they wanted me to send the certificates, and I've never gotten any certificates from them. This is CenturyLink.
Okay.
Is the name of it, and I think it's a spin-off from Computer Share. Anyway, what my question is, as soon as I get them from the state, do I pay the taxes then? Because I have no idea.
Right. Well, yes, you're going to pay tax when you sell them. This sounds like this is stock, not, if they're looking for certificates, this is stock.
them.
If you're not going to sell them, there's no tax to pay until you sell them. If this is certificates, then that's stock. And so they're holding some stock on a company that they're looking to give to you. If that's the case, then, and you're not going to sell it, then it's just going to come back into your name, and at some point later down the line, you will sell them, and then you will pay capital gains.
Mary, does that help you out a little bit?
Okay, this is Now, I've been paying on other stock,
Dividends. You've been paying dividends that they distributed to you.
TNT and Verizon and different ones.
Mm-hmm. Do you get any statement on this stock? Do you get a dividend statement every year?
I get a tax form.
On this
How
particular
much I
stock?
owe.
Mary, on this stock? On the one that you're trying to get from the state, you get a dividends form?
On that one, I haven't received anything
Okay.
from it. And that's what concerns me.
Right.
Because I went to get my taxes done today,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't, you know, it's like they're holding it for me, and I can't send it off until this is resolved. So I called the State Treasury Department, and they are so booked up, they couldn't even answer my question.
Yeah, I would be very careful too. There are several frauds out there, Mary, that hit the seniors where they say that they're holding property for people and things. Just be very careful about what information you're providing to these people. Make sure that this is a legitimate state organization, as much as even going down or hanging up the phone and calling back, calling information for a contact number, not the number they're giving you. Double check before you give them anything, because sometimes they get bank account information, they get Social Security information, they get a lot home address information from the people on the phone. So just be very, very careful. If you didn't know the stock existed and you're not getting statements from them, go to the IRS. There should be dividend statements that would be directly submitted to them from past years, because your Social Security number would have been tied to these. You would have gotten sweet little love letters from them saying, we've changed your tax return because you did not report, unless it's a minor amount. Maybe it's only a couple dollars in the dividends that make a difference. But I'm just saying, be careful about what you do, because, and not to say I haven't heard, and there are a lot of times unclaimed things that the state does hold. Just don't jump to a conclusion that this is a legal organization. Make sure you do your due diligence before you do anything, is my suggestion on that.
So I would hold off on taxes, wouldn't I?
No, I wouldn't. I would file my taxes, because another way you'll find out is the IRS would contact you saying, we've changed your tax return because there's unclaimed dividends. If that's possible. I mean, it's just another source. I would not hold off on doing my taxes, personally.
Okay, so, okay.
Mary, go ahead. We're going to follow that advice, and maybe if you have some kids, maybe run this by them, see if they can help you out with it as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully you'll be there. And let's talk about identity theft just real quick. I know
Sure.
we have a few other people online.
No.
This is such a problem, and we do stories about this on the news side all the time, yet they continue to get people because they change up the game, they change up the scam just a little bit,
Doesn't
and
take
they
much.
will reel all that information out of you on the phone because they scare you.
Well, I mean, there's a new, not a new one, it's been going around for the last year or so, but where the IRS is calling people,
Yes.
right? And they're calling up and saying, you have a debt, either pay us now or we're going to sue you. Which anytime you get a phone call from the IRS, which one, they're not really very much into calling you. They used to love to send you little certified letters, you know?
Yeah.
But if for some reason they do call you, be careful. Most of these numbers are New York numbers. The IRS is not likely to be calling you from there. If it's a phone call, it's most likely from Tennessee. It should be 615. But you know, hang up the phone, call back the local office, find out if there's a case on you. If the person's insulted because you did it, well, I'm sorry.
So
but if you hear the word sue in the conversation, the IRS cannot sue you. They can levy, they can lien, they can seize. They cannot sue you. So that's a giveaway. So
And
if
I
you
would
hear that
say
word.
before you ever give out your social
No matter
security
what.
number, your bank account, anything,
Yep.
your address,
If it's your bank, anything, hang up
Hang
the
up.
phone, call them direct. That's always the best answer, because
and you don't give them, as you said before,
Yeah.
don't call back the number they gave you.
Right, no.
You need to call information, look it up in the old phone book if you've got one, and,
Yes.
and do it that way.
Yep.
Just please, please,
And
please
also,
be
if you
careful.
have a phone caller ID, Google the number they called you from,
Yes.
because a lot of people are posting those numbers on Google saying, yeah, this is a fraud, whatever. But a lot of times, again, they hit your grandparents, they're hitting your older parents. Just, they trust more, and so
Yes.
and they get confused easier. So just, like in Mary's case, that's what concerns me. Someone may have convinced her that she has some unclaimed money, and all you have to do is give us your bank account and send us some certificates, and we'll get it to you. And next thing, she's signed over stock that she has, or, you know, I mean, it's just kind of scary for our parents.
And you know, when you get to our age, you do have to think about talking to your parents and saying, "Hey, mom, hey, dad,
Yeah.
you got to know this is out there." And it's kind of a role reversal.
Well,
It feels
I love
weird.
those commercials, right? Where, you know, when you're in the car as a little kid, you're like, "We're there yet?"
Yes.
And then the mom is in the back seat. She goes, "We're there yet?" that, I mean, it does happen, unfortunately, and if you're lucky, you get that opportunity to take care of your parents, but part of that is the responsibility to make sure that they don't get their cell phone as often as you want sometimes.
Right, right. Okay, let's hop back to the lines. We have Steve on the line. Steve, thanks for being with us tonight. What's your question?
Yes, my question, and good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
I have my taxes done. My mother passed away about a year ago. I've inherited the house. I live in it now.
Okay.
And I'm going to probably downsize, probably sometime this summer, this year.
Okay.
And I just want to know, when I sell the home, what are my tax obligations?
Awesome question. Thanks for calling, because that's a big one. First thing is you need to, if you didn't at the time of your parents' death, you need to get an appraisal. So you need to call a real estate person and see if they would be willing to go back and say, as of, and give them the date of the passing of your mother, and say, as of this time, can you give me an idea? Because that's your basis. We need to know, how much did you inherit that house at? So if it's $100,000 and then you sell it, the difference between the basis and the selling price is what you're going to be responsible in taxes or loss.
If I
whichever might
take
happen.
some of that money, which I'm going to do, and reinvest in another home for me, then what does that do?
We don't have that on the books any longer. At one point, we did have the reinvestment if you sold your primary home within 22 years, whatever. That's not there. So you immediately will have to pay gains, capital gains tax on the difference between your basis and what you sell it for. Don't spend all your money.
Does my age make any difference?
Not really. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of my clients come in and say, is there some point I can stop paying taxes? And I'd love to say yes, but no. You know, you can be 100 years old and you'll still be paying taxes, possibly.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm 67. I just thought that maybe, you know, I'm retired. I thought maybe that might happen.
Well, we do have a 0% capital gain, so your income may be low enough where you're living off of below the 15%, but it has to stay under 15% with the additional gains. Does that make sense? So if you're basically not having to file, you're living off Social Security, you could probably make about $30,000 or $40,000 and pay no tax on it as a gain. But if you have a pension and some of the other things you're living off of, you know, just calculate. If you've got a tax person and you know roughly what those numbers, throw them at them and say, hey, if I sell the house for this, how much do I owe in taxes? If I sell it for this, how much do I owe? You know, get a couple scenarios going so you're prepared for it.
Okay. Well, after tax seasons, I'll probably throw it towards you.
Awesome.
There you go.
Job security.
But once again, you said if it's under 30 or 35,000, your income, you probably will not have any capital gains.
Right. We have a 0% capital gains as long as it stays under 15%.
Okay.
Income.
Thank you for the information, ladies.
No
I
worries.
appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for joining us tonight. I have a question. What are some audit red flags?
Oh, that's a good one. And actually, one of the biggest thing is not being consistent. So basically, something big changes in your finances, or you give a lot to charity one year because maybe you cleaned out the garage, and that's going to waive. Charity's a big one that, you know, a lot of times we have in this town we have a lot of givers.
Yes.
A lot of people are cleaning out the houses. They're doing the whole. Goodwill has an awesome app now, guys, where nowadays if you give, you can go online and it actually calculates, because we always think our things are worth a lot more money than in reality. So you really do need to do those, because you know what, that sofa that you thought was so beautiful and worth thousands is worth like $10. So that would be one of the biggest things. Another big change would be if, in his case, when he inherited, maybe he had a lot of stock sales or something like that. Capital gains, it can trigger. Just again, the IRS kind of puts us in these little slots, and if you pop out of those slots, it makes them look at you. If it's logical, the computer, and we are all computer. The computer chooses the audits nowadays.
Oh, so it's not just like random numbers like, oh, your number came up this year.
They love to say that. It's a random audit, but I've never yet found a random audit yet.
And when you do get audited, what do you have to do?
Cry.
Yeah, that's where I would start for sure.
Hire an enrolled agent. Hire somebody else to represent you like you would a mechanic or anything else. But take a look at first. It may be, most of our audits nowadays are paper, which means like if someone, let's say they do say, hey, we don't believe you maybe gave all that money to charity. Prove it. You would then give all that documentation. You will mail that back off, and they will say, okay, you did,
Gotcha.
whatever. So those are easy ones to fix. And then there's the ones that are face-to-face audits. I would say never represent yourself yourself on a face-to-face, because often my clients would open their mouth, say something that could lead to something more being audited, because, oh yeah, well, you know, I took that money and I sold this and I did that, and next thing you know, you're mentioning things that you sold that you didn't report, and even if it is or isn't taxable, they're looking for more hidden money.
Sure.
And so keep your mouth shut, you don't know anything, and do your taxes.
Great advice. Okay, we're going to take a quick break on that note. When we come back, more of your questions. Stay where you are.